A few, but not all, of the last moments of Carol Ann Gotbaum's life preserved in pictures.
Earlier in the video, you could see
3 camera angles caught the action, but there's no audio. Still, it's clear the woman is making a scene. In a moment, one camera shows she's on the floor, taken down and handcuffed. 2 other cameras show her being taken away, apparently stiff-legged. Police say they found no violations of policy or procedures so far, and the investigation is still ongoing. Whatever the video shows, there are things it clearly doesn't, like what happened in a holding cell when she was placed handcuffed and shackled to a bench. She was later discovered and pronounced dead after attempts to revive her failed. Police say she was left there alone for between 6 to 8 minutes.
They heard her yelling and screaming the whole time, and that was within earshot of the officers that were there. We do not have cameras inside of holding cells. We're prohibited to do that by policy.
The family's lawyer says that's a big problem. He says they should never have left her alone, and there should have been a camera in the lockup to be the final record of what happened in confinement.
Unfortunately, there's no video in that portion of the airport so that we can tell. And more unfortunately, Carol's not here to tell us one way or the other.
A police department policy manual says audio and video recording of detainees is not permitted in the lockup to protect detainees' privacy. The husband of Carol Ann Gotbaum arrived in Phoenix to take her body back to New York City, and there was even controversy over the body itself. While the county medical examiner's office permitted an independent autopsy by a pathologist who was hired by the family's lawyer said certain organs, the brain, the neck, and the heart, were not turned over for independent examination.
We don't know why. What we were told is that they were too busy. And that's a hard thing to hear under those circumstances because our pathologist had to leave that afternoon, and they knew that. So we were on a serious time pressure, under serious time pressure, to get that autopsy done and get it done completely.
The Maricopa County medical examiner could not be reached for comment. One former medical examiner who has handled his share of high-profile cases is Dr. Jonathan Arden of Washington, D.C. He said it is not uncommon for certain body parts to be held back for further study. In a case like this, however, there's a danger.
You really need to be particularly careful about the release of information, not to look like you are hiding something, not to give anybody the false impression or any impression that they're not getting the full story.
And transparency here is part of the reason police held this news conference and released the video. Joe Johns, CNN, Phoenix, Arizona.